least you're honest, Hank.
Yeah.
DNVR Broncos Live, coming to you from Studio X, where the X stands for extradited. As in, the Broncos were extradited from the top 50.
We gotta teach him that word.
That did not hit.
No. I think that definitely hit.
There just
No.
needs to be so much backstory to an extradition. It's not just not being in a good spot.
Let's tap into that. Tell us more about that.
So, like, if I were to break a law here and then go to Canada, then Canada would extradite me back to where they could.
The Broncos broke the law of being bad. And they tried to go to the top 50, but then they were extradited back outside of it.
You
I
should,
guess.
no, I don't think so. You should have just stopped when you were not even on top.
I think, I don't know. I'll let the comments decide.
Off to a real hot start.
I feel really hot. Even though it's cool outside, it's humid.
It is.
It makes you understand why people from places that aren't Colorado complain 24/7.
Yeah, it's already warm in Studio X, though.
It is.
Somehow.
Studio X.
It was cold
never
out of
gets
Broncos
cold.
practice. Legitimately cold.
Wow.
So I put on long sleeves today, much to the dismay of many of our listeners who want to see my golden brown arms. But I was like, oh, it's got to be chilly out. I can just tell by looking. And then I went out on my deck and I was like, I've made a huge mistake.
But you had to go back inside and you didn't change?
Oh, once you put your clothes on, those are your clothes for the day.
Unless you want to wash 2 pairs of clothes.
Like, I feel like I have to, that's like a philosophical thing for me because there's, like, one of my pet peeves is like, you're in a rush to go somewhere and then, could be anyone. Maybe it's your girlfriend. Maybe it's someone else you're with. But they're like, hold on, I don't like this outfit. I have to change. And now you're late.
So essentially you're calling Allie out.
No, could
Yes.
be anyone.
Yes.
Allie, Hank.
It wasn't
Kale.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I commit. Like, when I'm in the shower, I get an outfit in my head, and that's the outfit.
So once it's in your head, it's it?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Unless, like, I can't find the clothes or something. But plan it out, jump out of the shower, grab the clothes, put it on, you're done.
You ever think of going the Bill Gates, or not the Bill Gates, why am I
Steve
not?
Jobs?
Yeah, the Steve Jobs route of just same outfit every single day?
No. That's not me.
No.
I mean, essentially, I'm wearing a different version of the same outfit every day.
It's really true.
White sneakers, black pants or shorts, black shirt or...
Got the sleeves today, though.
Yeah, brought the sleeve. Yeah.
Real
And
change up.
I do change it up once in a while.
And typically it's vintage of some sort.
Yes. Speaking of changing it up, the NFL needs to change up the NFL Top 100 desperately because the whole system is an absolute sham in the first place. But now it's like, at least before we could just count on Von Miller to be erroneously ranked way too high every year. And that would be like representing the Broncos and, give us some good feelings. But now we don't even get that.
No, now Von Miller's ranked erroneously low.
Yes, he is. Like, how did he go from the top 10 to the bottom 10?
With winning a Super Bowl and having an amazing postseason run. Yeah, that part is crazy. And I actually think Bills fans now have a lot of reason to be upset about that.
Well, the voting probably happened shortly after he was traded. And so people are probably like low on him at the time.
He had just won Defensive Player of the Month.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, he actually got disrespected. Maybe just because he wore orange and blue last season. Because everyone else who did and who wears it now is getting the short end of the stick. So let's start.
Wait, really quick.
Oh.
So the Broncos have one guy on their team now that wore orange and blue that made the top 50 last year.
That is true.
The top 100.
Unless there's a saving grace coming.
Nope, there's not.
All right. Well, okay. Let's talk about this. All right, let's just start there. Henry, any chance in your mind that Pat Surtain ends up on this list?
I mean, there is a chance. I'll say there's a chance because I think we all sit here and say he is better. He's the best player in the Broncos. And so he should be the highest rated.
I think by the end of this year, he will certainly be considered the best player on the Broncos.
I think so too. At the same time, though, I'm not willing to bet on it just because the vibes are bad after how Russell Wilson and Justin Simmons were treated. I don't expect to see him on this list.
And you're definitely no.
Yeah, of course not. No, we saw Justin Simmons fall last year, a rookie that didn't make the Pro Bowl, didn't get an All-Pro. He's not going to make this list. Now, that doesn't mean he shouldn't make this list. He should be on here right now, in my opinion. But no, he's not going to be in the top 50.
Here's the hard thing. A part of me wants to say yes, but again, I remember this is done during the season.
Mm-hmm.
And
you want to explain that process?
The dumbest process ever.
It is.
Like a couple girls from the NFL come in during open locker room and just go around handing out worksheets to all the players that I think it's ranked 1 to 20.
Yep, I think it's 1 to 20.
Yeah, it's ranked 1 to 20, and they're just like, give us your top 20. And
there's no list that they can look at of people. It's just off the top of your head.
And so all the players, well, half of the players go, okay, and then just throw it in the trash and go to their meeting. And the other, another half of the half remaining, just sit next to their buddies, and they're like, oh, like, who are our boys again? And
yep.
like,
oh, you're my boy. Yeah. Okay, backup tight end going number 2.
What players do we like? They're like, oh, the homie Kayvon Webster. And they're like, oh, yeah, Kayvon Webster, number 1.
Because you can't vote for your own team, right?
I think you can.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
And then they'll be like, who else is in the NFL again? And they'll be like, oh, Tom Brady.
Aaron Donald. He's there. Yeah. And then let's just do the last 10 of guys sitting next to me right now.
Yes. Okay. And then like one out of every 30 players actually sits down, maybe even like talks to the media a little bit and is like, who am I forgetting here? And puts together like an actual comprehensive list. So that gives you an idea of just how dumb this is. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the fact that the Broncos peers around the NFL have no respect for them.
Correct. Yes,
true.
Obviously. Because obviously what they also pay attention to, especially guys looking at around the league, is, okay, who's playing on prime time? The Broncos literally didn't do that last year outside of the pity one that they got and then flexed later in the year. So they didn't get that. Then you think of like, okay, who's got dynamic offenses? Definitely not the Broncos. So you skip over them on offense. And then defense, okay, it's a gritty defense. And then you kind of just move on. So you go for the huge names, and the Broncos had one last year, and that was Von Miller.
So let me ask you this. Which one is worse? Justin Simmons at 81 or Russell Wilson at 61? Which one is more egregious?
Simmons. Mostly because these quarterbacks get overhyped. Like in terms of like who are the best players, Russell Wilson around 60, like sure. If anything, I don't think it's that bad.
I completely disagree.
Wow.
Because we're talking about the best players, yes, but in this, I mean, how many kickers are in the top 100? How many punters are in the top 100? So there is positional value in here.
Oh, there absolutely
And you probably see a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of the elite quarterbacks in the top 20.
Totally.
So the fact that there's probably a massive gap between where Russ truly is what do we say, 6 to 8 quarterback in the NFL to where he is here. I bet the other 5 or 6 quarterbacks are all within the top 20. And Russ then falls 40 spots to 61.
So that's what I was going to say is I'm trying to think of, again, the process here. And when guys are ranking their top 20 players, I just don't think they're thinking of Justin Simmons. And so I understand why he's fallen out. But I would think that they would think of Russell Wilson. In fact, let me ask you this. If we were to do a redraft right now of the entire NFL, where does Russell Wilson go?
Top 10.
At least top 15, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like the guys who's
going quarterback?
The guys who aren't quarterbacks that are getting drafted. Let's just go there. Aaron Donald.
No, not before
too
Russell
old.
Wilson.
You don't think he's getting done?
Too old.
Not before Russ.
Okay, then
he almost retired this offseason.
Then no one is.
I agree. No one is getting drafted.
So he's
But
getting
what
picked
about-
like number 7.
What about like Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence is 22, 23.
Sure, you can make an
I'm
argument
not.
for that.
No chance
You
I'm
could-
taking Trevor
you
Lawrence over
really-
Russell Wilson.
That would make a GM think long and hard.
It would. And you could go with a lot of young quarterbacks that you
That's
would
the
at least
thing.
have to have the conversation about. Like you could even maybe have like a Kyler Murray conversation. It just depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like we're gonna do a Madden fantasy draft here in a couple weeks. And Russ probably won't go that high because of how valued young players are. Now he's the quarterback of the Broncos, and we're in a league of 32 Broncos fans, so maybe he will still go really high. But I guess that's true. Youth matters if you were to redraft, but it doesn't really matter in this. If you were redrafting to just play 100, this season.
Right. For this season, yeah, he's probably top 15. He's got to be top 15.
So then how does he end up at 61?
Exactly.
What's the issue?
Because again, it's that thing where it's like, in terms of just best players, not like most valuable players, but just like who is the best at football, best at what they do. It's like, yeah, in a vacuum, 61?
There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a top 2 player on a given team. 61, that'd be 64. I think, again, not in terms of value. If you bump him up because he's a quarterback, you can do that. And the fact that he's going to be so far off from some of the other quarterbacks, you can be upset about that.
20 teams that he would be the best player on.
Yeah.
But we've had this discussion, though.
Yeah.
I think Stephon Diggs is better than Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just that sort of thing. Like, Devontae Adams is...
Josh Allen's the best player in the NFL, in my opinion. At worst, he's 2.
Okay, so
but
Henry,
Aaron Donald, you got all these guys.
Henry's fine with Russell Wilson being 61. Well, we'll put those words in his mouth.
Oh boy. In a vacuum, is he his 61st best player? Sure.
He clearly thinks that Corey Linsley, the Chargers center, is better than Russell Wilson.
How did anyone put him on their list?
I don't know.
That is a fantastic point. That is not a guy that comes to the top of your head.
I only vaguely know who that is.
Yes, I completely agree. He didn't allow a sack since week 10 of 2020.
It's impressive. He's a good player, but
let's go through some other guys. And Hank, now I'm not just. I want you to be honest.
Oh
here.
yeah,
Max Crosby.
Russell Wilson's better. Max Crosby's what? The 6th best edge rusher?
I want to know what scale you're rating on this. How good they are at what they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's he's the 6th best edge rusher. We got 6th best. We'll give the edge to Russell anyway.
Okay.
Russell Wilson. No. Russell Wilson's better. Russell Wilson's better. We're not talking margins.
Darren Waller. According to what you just said, you'd have to
I think Darren Waller's overrated.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you don't think he's a top 6 tight end?
Well, again, but there's more of a drop-off. Because it can't just be 1-to-1 all the way through.
We're getting some inconsistencies
Madden ratings. We're thinking Madden ratings.
Okay.
Madden ratings.
Probably in the 90s.
Yes, definitely.
It probably is. I don't think he should be.
Okay.
But I think he's really good.
A lot of inconsistencies.
I think he's probably the 6th best. That's fair.
He's also old.
So you're saying Darren Waller is overrated, but do you think he should be
He should not be in front of Russ.
Okay. All right. Good.
A lot of inconsistencies here. Kyler Murray.
No, Russell's better.
Xavier Howard.
Probably Xavier Howard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's overrated.
He's good.
Joe.
He's good.
Joel Bitonio, yes.
Oh, the offensive linemen are tough.
It's so hard to
I cannot
quantify.
say that I've tuned into Joel Bitonio on any snap of his life. I've heard good things. I'll say Russell Wilson's better based on not watching Joel Bitonio.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah, that's not a good one. He's not above him.
Jeffrey
What's he
Simmons.
doing this?
Jeffrey Simmons. Remember, Jeffrey Simmons won a game. He beat the Bills with that play to stop Josh Allen on 4th down last year. You remember that?
Yeah, no, he's made some
How is he in front of
plays.
Max Crosby?
He's I would put him in the nice young player category.
Exactly.
Okay.
You could argue he's the 3rd best defensive end in football.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
8.5
you
sacks.
could.
Not just that.
Yeah, as a
8.5
defensive
sacks.
lineman, that's really good.
But I mean, he's
8.5
outside
sacks for
still,
a defensive
isn't
lineman.
he?
No, he's big. He's 300 plus pounds.
Okay.
Is he really?
Yes.
He is more than
He's
300.
technically a defensive tackle. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So he's 8.5 sacks.
I
is
take
really
Max
good.
Crosby.
Mike Evans.
No chance.
I mean,
Not the radio personality.
Mike Evans hasn't even... this is probably going to come back to bite me if I say it, so I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
I'll say Mike Evans has underachieved with Tom Brady. I changed what I said. See, now I know you're going to pull up some
Yeah,
stats.
I know exactly.
His stats are insane.
I don't think
believe.
you've got to say he's a top 5 receiver, and receiver is such a crazy deep position.
Do you
See,
have to say
I
that?
do agree with you, Ryan.
No, he
He's
is
not
much
a
lower.
top 5 receiver.
What is
That is
what do
true.
his stats say
Only
from
like
last year?
1,000 last year.
Okay, all right. I was scared.
Yeah, I mean,
I was scared
that's
you're gonna be like
Russell
he had
Wilson.
140 catches and 1,900 receiving yards or something. I was like, what? It didn't feel like that.
He
No.
really has underperformed with Brady.
Yes.
That
Okay.
is
Good.
crazy.
I'm glad that the vibes told me the right thing.
Tom Brady has 123 quarterback rating when targeting Evans.
Yeah. I mean, he's very I would say, efficient as a wide receiver, but he's averaging 72 catches a season with Tom Brady.
How many targets is he averaging, though? Because my guess is Tom's just spreading it out. Because Tom's getting his.
That's fair. Targets, 2020. Wow, his targets are way down since Tom got there.
Yeah.
109 last year, 114 last year, 109 in 2020.
So still right around a 70% catch rate. I guess 60
example,
something.
in 2016, he had 173 targets.
It's Jameis, baby. Feeding him. Okay, Matt Judon.
Yeah, Judon's not better.
Okay. And then Alvin Kamara.
See, that is
They
a
feel
tough
like
one.
Equals to me.
I think that is fair,
Like
especially
Alvin
because
Kamara is the Russell Wilson of running backs.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
How so? Explain yourself.
It's like you absolutely love to have him. He's effective in almost every way, but he's not the best.
You know there's better out there.
Yeah.
You know there's better out there.
And sometimes they can play to look like the best.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, I wouldn't put a single one of those people in front of Russell Wilson.
And Hank, you said a couple?
Like maybe, yeah, Max. No, I said not Max Crosby. There was one,
Mike
wasn't
Evans,
there? No,
Yeah, there were a couple.
Kamara.
there were a couple.
There were a couple, I swear.
I swear too. I can't remember who they were though, but yes, there were.
And so that
Not
is
Lindsley.
just right now. They released the other
Yeah.
ones, I believe, at the end of this coming weekend. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of guys that we would disagree with on there. Probably some more centers, some more guards.
Who is voting for these guys?
I know. But there's other stuff though where it's like Justin Tucker, 94th best player in the NFL. Like, I get that it's hard to put him somewhere, but it's just crazy to me that that's where he winds up.
Just say no
Because
kickers
it's just
in the
like,
first
what is
place.
happening?
Just write
Like,
it on the top of the sheet.
In what world is anybody coming out saying like, yeah, Justin Tucker, I think 94 is probably his number if I had to rank him among NFL players.
Well, because that's not what they just give the top
Oh,
20.
totally.
So he makes it into the top
I think there
100.
has to be some sort of editorial process in this. Like, no one put him in their top 20.
I bet people probably put him number one.
I think there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I think there were probably a decent amount of people that did, and then
Unless
the
they're
majority
just
of
Ravens
people
players.
just did not remember him.
See, what the Broncos need to do, and maybe I can help them with this, is come up with the top 20 players on the Broncos, and every single player just writes that in
Right.
when they get their sheets, and you'll have almost every player in the top 100.
So what you're saying is Broncos players don't respect their fellow teammates.
You know,
Wow.
I bet you there's also something to losing teams in week 13 or whatever week these people come are so not here for the bullshit that they're just like mad. They're already in bad mood. These people come in, they're like, hey, will you fill this out? And they're just like, no. And so I bet you of the 63 Broncos, or I guess now it's 68 in the locker room. Of the 68 Broncos in the locker room,
85 right now. Oh, you mean
during
what?
that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the
Yep,
extended
yep.
practice squad. I would guess that 15 or less turned in a sheet.
I would say that's probably right just for every team, though.
Oh, okay, all right. Then there has to be someone on the back end who's saying like, we're like
They're like, Aaron Donald's 22nd? No, we're going to bump him up to 2.
yeah, yes, I kind of have a feeling that happens.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised either. And then Justin falls 20 spots below Russell Wilson to number 81. And wasn't he 40 last year?
41.
41.
Okay, how?
How?
He had a better season.
He
Well,
did.
we know how. We don't need to go down how again
true.
because the whole thing is dumb. But yeah, I mean, look at like Antoine Winfield Jr., another safety, a worse safety.
Yes.
How? Like, we don't rhetorical how, but that's just so stupid.
Yeah, this list is
It's awful.
like, as a society, we need to like discredit it.
4 spots in front of Mac Jones. I love Mac Jones, but that is not how this should be.
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking quarterbacks to safeties, one is the most important position in all sports. In safety, there's a reason why a lot of safeties aren't paid super top dollar.
It's gonna be funny when Matt Patricia ruins Mac Jones.
It's not going to ruin him. Mac Jones is going to persevere through whatever they do.
All right.
My least favorite thing about all this, though, Kirk Cousins is on this list. Because I don't care who you are. You can't say that Kirk Cousins is good. And like, that's the part. Is like,
Cousins.
in,
Some
Kirk
stats.
Cousins is good. Kirk
No,
Cousins, Kirk
Zach,
Cousins
no,
is
he's
good.
not
Yes, he
good.
is. He's good. He's not great.
He's good.
He's good.
oh, he's
Yeah.
not good.
He is good, but he pretty much got Mr. Irrelevant So Henry, you can feel good about that. Isn't he 99 on this
Yeah,
list?
but
If
like,
Kirk Cousins smoked weed and had long hair, he would be Jake Plummer.
Who was at practice today, by the
oh
way.
wow. Okay, I can't go down that road. That might be fair. But like, it's just like, what? He's not like. Are people sitting there thinking like, who is really, really good at football? Kirk Cousins?
I didn't say really, really good. I said
No,
he's good.
you know. I know because
How many great players are there in the NFL? Are there 100?
Great. So that's 3 a team.
Wow.
Yeah, there are.
So then Kirk Cousins probably shouldn't be in there.
Okay, well then
No,
let's
he shouldn't.
truly go to Mr. Irrelevant here.
Also, I was a little bit exaggerating with that Jake Plummer thing, but it doesn't feel that far off.
Okay, guess who Mr.
know.
Irrelevant is? Truly Mr. Irrelevant. It fits here. Think more so position,
There's a punter on here?
No, no.
maybe even more irrelevant in today's game.
Fullback. Use check.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you know how that happens. It's like there's 3 guys, more than that, 15 guys who say, you know what? Kyle Juszczyk is a top 5 player in the NFL. He just doesn't get the respect because he's a fullback, and then nobody else included him at all.
He probably deserves to be on here, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of a top player.
You guys want to know what the most electric thing that's happened so far in the preseason is?
What's that?
It's Punt God with his first punt in the NFL hitting an 82-yard punt.
Yes, that is for sure.
Like, imagine is he on the Bills?
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine you're a Bills fan and you go to a preseason game and you're already like bummed. You're like, we have to watch Case goddamn Keenum
Yeah.
play today. And then you're like, well, at least we get to see Punt God. And then he comes out on the field and you get all hyped about it and then he hits an 82-yard bomb.
Yeah.
That's the that's the most excited anyone's been in the preseason for
know.
any team.
It's so true.
And the commentators too, like they just build. And it's like it's still going. Wow, he really got hold of that. Oh my goodness! Like that's the most excited they got all game.
At one point, the second announcer, the play-by-play, no, not the analyst, just goes, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you see Pat McAfee get a hold of it, and man, he goes all out on it.
Then there was a bunch of dumb people on Twitter who were like, "Wasn't even worth it, touchback," and it's like, no, that's a net 62-yard punt.
Right, still incredible.
If you did that every punt forever, you'd be the best punter of all time.
Wow.
Just like, and he lost 20 yards on that punt.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And the thing about Race is that like he still hasn't figured out how to put it in a specific spot, which will come back to bite him at some point. But just being able to flip the field every single time, you're just like,
Any spot on the
why
field.
not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And
Put him
you
at
have-
the 20 every time.
And you have Josh Allen as your quarterback, so you don't have to worry about that too much.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a bummer for him.
Yeah. Yeah, too bad he's not on the Broncos of last year.
Yeah, he should have gone to, the Jags.
Right. Then he really would have been
Sell
able to break
jerseys.
records. Yep.
We get to see him this week. That's exciting.
We do. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, in the end here, this is a silly list. But, okay, I want to say that Pat Surtain's going to make it on there, but I won't. Let's do this and try to remember it for 1 year from now, and we're mad about this one.
boy.
Or maybe we're happy about it next year. How many players make it next year?
Let me answer that question right after I tell you about our friends over at DraftKings
Nice.
Sportsbook. While looking into the future, you can get $200 in free bets by betting $5 on any college football team. That's all you have to do. Win or lose on that team you bet. Just bet $5, and new users get $200 in free bets, which then you can use later that day on more college football. You can use it on week 1 in the NFL. You can use it on preseason Broncos games. You can do whatever you want with it, but you can get $200 in your account right away. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get the $200 in free bets by betting $5 on any college football team. That's code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. 1 per new customer, minimum $5 deposit and wager, $200 issued as 8 $25 free bets. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
And Breckenridge Brewery. We had I didn't have any Breckenridge beers, but it actually
Not
sucked
even
for me.
one?
No. Because you think like, okay, I'll drink one at some point. I don't want to do it now. And it's certainly not going to be when Lindsay's yelling, "Henry, come do a shot." And it's like, well, that's not going to be my one drink. And like you go by a cooler, and it's like, well, I don't want the first one. So I just never really got around to it.
That's a shame.
It is a shame.
I
But
drank enough for you, though.
I'm
Did
sure.
you
I
drink enough for me
accidentally
as well?
My day started with me taking a giant chunk of ice. Some might even call it an iceberg.
Wow.
And moving it from one like container of ice to another one. And I just like assumed I could just drop it and nothing bad would happen. And I was hoping that it would like break the ice up. Instead, it just stabbed the side of a beer.
Wow.
So then I just shotgunned it.
Was it harder to pick up because of the weight or the slipperiness?
Neither. It was easy to pick up.
Because he's
That's a
strong,
shame.
Henry.
And he has very rugged hands.
I would say I have pretty soft hands.
Weird. Okay. Well, Breckenridge Brewery, you guys should be drinking all their beers. Come out to the tailgates and drink them. Or just go to breckbrew.com and use the beer locator. You get to put in your zip code, click on whatever you want to try, and it'll tell you where to go.
All right. Also, reminder to come out to the tailgate. Like I just mentioned, it's fun. You could shotgun a beer too. Come on out, drink some Breck Brews, hang out with us, play on the new DNVR cornhole boards, which were an absolute hit. Check out the DJ, drink some Breckenridge Distillery, eat some Mile High Sliders, which the reviews on the Mile High Sliders were out of this world.
Yeah, those are good.
So come down. We've got one more preseason tailgate before we get it popping for the regular season. And yeah, you're going to get... Oh.
Wait,
This
what?
might be breaking news. This might be breaking news.
I've got some breaking news, so you hit me first.
I know Zach's.
This is not 100% official, so this is like sources are telling me.
Okay.
According to people around the league,
Okay.
some have said
Potentially.
that next tailgate we're doing a bus, and why that would be notable is those who go on that bus would be the first people to get a look at the new DNVR bar.
Wow. How about that?
Can I look first?
You can, yes, you can.
Wow. I love it.
Let's go.
So keep an eye out for that. If you see the bus, that means you're going to be the first one of the first 56 to see, if you sign up for that bus, to see the inside the new look DNVR bar.
I can't wait. And some other breaking news.
Bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Okay.
Not really relating to the Broncos. Drew Lock may have taken the spot ahead of Geno Smith for the Seahawks number one job.
I thought you were going to say he's one of their first
now.
5 cuts.
Wow, that would be
Bring him back.
something. That would be something. Drew is now taking the first team reps for the first time, I believe, out there in Seattle.
You love to see it.
I so hope, as much as I do still think it's going to be Geno Smith, I would love Drew Lock against Russell Wilson week 1. Oh my gosh, would I.
The problem is that like it's a small thing, but one out of every 100 rolls of that dice ends in misery.
And if we're calling that 1 out of 100, I think Geno Smith is like 1 out of 1,000.
Okay.
No, I think Geno gives him a better shot to win.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
why I think he's going to be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't even think it comes down to being good though. It comes down to that being Drew Lock, and so just something weird could happen.
I mean, it's
the Broncos.
just it's like PFF put out yesterday in the first preseason game when he had a clean pocket.
Yeah,
Drew Lock was
Yep.
10 for 12, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, when he didn't have a
clean
clean
pocket,
pocket,
he fumbled the game away.
Yes, and that happens with Drew, and we all had to live
Totally.
it.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, the PTSD that I got from reading the Drew versus Geno posts actually almost sent me into a dark place.
Yes, a dark space is what the Broncos were talking about today, because the dark side.
Yes,
The
line.
defensive line, and now the entire defense is kind of embracing. DJ Jones said the reason it's dark side is because when guys get on the field, they're told to go to a dark space because that's where you're supposed to play football on defense. And so what does a dark space mean for DJ Jones? It means he doesn't say a word on the field. He says, if I were mic'd up, you wouldn't get a peep out of me.
That's hilarious.
Wow. I thought you were supposed to like communicate.
That's, I guess not as a defensive lineman.
Is that like what happens if he has a question?
No questions.
Like, you just turn
he made
around
it
and-
very clear that he does not speak in games.
I mean, all he really needs to do is like feel which side Josie Jewell touches him on the butt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess. I keep imagining him like turning around like with his mouth closed. trying to figure out what's going on.
You just go like this, and they would know.
Yeah, you'd use
I
your
don't know what the
hands.
call is.
Those long
But I mean,
arms.
if we saw the dark side last week against the Cowboys, I think it's working.
Do you think Nathaniel Hackett had anything to do with this, or like did they just accidentally make a Star Wars reference?
No, it was Coach Dixon, the defensive line coach, who came up with it.
Did you know that there's a golf ball brand company called Dixon? So then it's just Dixon balls.
Wow, Dixon balls. That was probably very intentional when they came up with the name.
It's like recycled golf balls. Like I don't even know if they did that on purpose. I think just the guy who started it was named Dixon.
Right, come on. They for sure did that on purpose.
I don't think so. It
Dixon
makes it
balls.
so much funnier to me that they didn't do it on purpose.
Well, I'll let you live in that
All
world.
right. So they came up with the dark side, which I assume had a little bit to do with George Lucas and Nathaniel Hackett,
yes.
Yeah, probably.
which I embrace.
Yeah.
Makes it a little harder for us to make a shirt out of it.
Yeah, especially since they've made a shirt out of it. Yeah.
It's tough. And what were we talking
Your
about?
question
again?
was how many guys
Oh,
in 1
yes.
year from now
Oh.
are going to be on the top 100? So I'm going to include these two guys.
Yep.
I'm going to include Pat Surtain.
Okay, 3.
You got to start with Draymond Jones, of course, because he's putting
Oh.
himself on there.
Oh.
So we got I'm
Okay, I was
I'm
gonna
just
say he's
kidding.
not on
Thank
mine.
God. It could be.
Cortland Sutton.
I was gonna go Judy first.
I was going to go Judy, but CeeDee Lamb on this list I think is better than Cortland and better than Jerry. He's 95, so I'm not going to put a wide receiver on there this year.
I think you're looking at it wrong. CD's just being undervalued.
I think so too. I think so too.
All right, I'm putting both Jerry and Cortland on there.
Oh wow! How? Who else?
So there's 5, right?
Yep,
And Javante.
6.
Javante was gonna be my last one.
Trying
I'll
to
go
think
5.
if anyone else could get on there.
It's not. I mean, Randy Gregory, Bradley Chubb. Between the two of them, one's healthy.
Maybe. No, not Alberto.
Definitely not Albert. I mean, if you're going to go offensive lineman, you're going Garrett Bowles, but I'm not
I
willing
know.
to do that,
No.
especially
Betting on
because of
any.
numbers. He's probably going to give up sacks and get holding penalties this year as well.
Be a good bet.
DJ Jones just not sexy enough of a position to gain notoriety. So I think that's probably it. I'm just going 3, though.
You're just adding Pat.
I'm just adding Pat.
I'm
I think
taking
all
5.
of these guys are going to be higher, though.
Double the wins, but only up the. Okay.
You'll have 3 top 50 guys.
Oh.
Maybe a receiver slides in there.
Okay.
But if
Jerry
it is,
would get
I'm
in
going,
really easily if he
If it
was
is,
just
I'm
good.
going Jerry.
Everyone knows
Exactly.
Jerry. Everyone likes Jerry.
But CeeDee Lamb, everyone
He went to
also
Oklahoma.
knew Yeah, but everyone knew him. He had so much draft type. And he's had really good season. Well, I guess not really good. He had 1,100 yards last year.
Mike Evans at 53. Jalen Waddle at 63.
Yeah, okay. I'll say Jerry gets in the bottom
Let's
50.
go.
Jalen Waddle was so underappreciated last year. He was incredible.
Yeah.
He's not talked about nearly enough.
No, not at all. It's because he's playing in Miami.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's going to... I'm surprised he made the list, actually. Just with Miami getting any love.
Didn't he set the rookie receptions record?
Yeah. Okay, now, let me flip this. Outside of the guys that are on the list now, plus Pat. So Russ, Justin, and Pat. If you got to choose one other guy to make it, who would you choose?
So if this guy makes it, it's the best case for the Broncos.
Yep. So you can choose Andrew Beck to make it if you thought that was going to help the team the most.
I think it's Jerry. Honestly, this just means that like Jerry finally lived up to his potential. He was healthy all year. He was Russ's guy, and now you feel so good about the future of the wide receiver room.
Okay, I like that.
There's so many good options. Even like a Quinn Minards. It's like if he made it on, that'd be kind of dope.
Henry, no.
He'd be
positional
so
value.
good. But that's how I'm going. That's how I'm going.
And I want to say this: one really good offensive lineman doesn't help you that much.
Yeah, but I don't think you're getting on this
What I'm
list
saying
unless
is
you're on a
it's the
good
collective
line.
of the whole group that matters.
I think the collective gets factored in. Like you got to be on a good line. I feel like to get on there.
That's
but I don't
probably
know.
true.
Oh, I blanked. Oh, KJ Hamler. That's a good one.
Oh wow!
If he made it on?
yeah, I mean you're reaching deep into the bucket for that one. Like, I think it's really, really rare. Like,
totally.
really unlikely that he makes it.
Absolutely. Or Jonas Griffith. That'd be the other one.
Man,
Armbrace Jonas is going to be sick.
Baron Browning.
I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to go Randy Gregory because that means he was healthy. That means he had, at least 12 sacks, if not 15. And then it probably means that someone else on the other side was really good to help him out. Mm-hmm. And, man, just having him on defense, because putting that with the offense, I think would be so good.
I have been thinking a lot about balance lately.
Wow.
And I think Javonte Williams would be huge if he was this guy. Because I don't know, like if there's one weakness to some of these great teams, it's balance. They don't have it. The Chiefs don't have it. The Bills don't have it. The Bucs don't really have it. They did 2 years ago. They kind of got away from it last year. And I think while the Rams weren't very balanced, they at least had the idea that they were balanced. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important thing for the Broncos to keep in mind. Like, I thought the Rams ran the ball, if I remember correctly, pretty darn well in the Super Bowl. So I think as much as I want to say let Russ cook, I think that being balanced could be the Broncos' best weapon this year.
It's just not going to come this year. I think it's going to come in the following years because they're going to let Russ cook. But you know a team that was secretly and quietly balanced last year?
Who?
The Green Bay Packers. Their running backs did a lot of good things. Yep. Now, not necessarily just through the running game, an extension of the passing game as well, but they used that. And that's something that I certainly think we're going to see.
Aaron Rodgers said today that he thinks that both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon can have 50 catches each this year.
Mm-hmm. And he fed, I don't remember who it was, but he fed one of them a lot last year.
And he said, we got to have our best 11 guys on the field. So that means, in my mind, that they're going to be running a lot of two running back sets.
Yeah, probably. And if you got two running backs, just like the Broncos, I'd love to see two running back sets.
Me too.
Speaking
you can be in the shotgun and have the threat of running both ways. It's the one thing about lining up in the shotgun a bunch that hurts you is the defense knows which way you want to run it, if you're going to run it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And just before I forget, speaking of Quinn Miners, he had a really bad play in practice today. I'll say that. And a former offensive lineman that's in the media said he's going to be benched by week 4.
So,
whoa! Wow.
And this is something that this person has been saying for a long time. This wasn't just after watching one play. Said it's going to be Graham Glasgow's spot. So,
do you like this person's takes?
This person knows what they're talking about when it comes to offensive line.
Okay.
I love this.
There's a lot to choose from, so it's good because you're not really throwing anyone under the bus.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I have a guess.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't think that is true.
I found that very interesting just because it seems like Quinn definitely has a job on lock now, especially with Muti out for a couple of weeks. He actually had a procedure to his knee, which we found out about yesterday. So the offensive line set outside of right tackle in just a matter of time until Billy Turner's healthy.
Right tackle, pizza man.
I'm hoping Calvin or Cam Fleming can hang on, but I'm not.
You're not hoping
not
that.
too confident.
Don't hope that
about that. Yeah, that would be not a good thing to root for.
Graham played really well in the preseason game.
He did.
He was incredible.
And it sounded like he was getting some first-team work today. That was on Twitter, so I'll just say that.
Well, actually, no, I can say that because Lloyd Cushenberry, having a rest day, according to Nathaniel Hackett, he came to practice about half an hour late, not wearing his pads, so that's okay. Wearing a big sleeve on his right leg, and when Nathaniel Hackett said he had a rest day, he said he's day-to-day.
So only one of those things can be true.
Yeah.
It made me say that, yeah. So that's something we're going to follow. Could be a rest day if he's back tomorrow, but that's something I'm following.
Could have a rest day while you were injured.
Yeah, I guess. And he just chose to tell some of the truth, not the full truth. And then Wattenberg, the backup center, has a little ankle injury. He's day-to-day. So Graham Glasgow, starting center today.
Yeah, I mean, everything is lining up perfectly for Graham Glasgow. He plays incredible in that game. Wattenberg absolutely does not. Moody now is dealing with this. Like, this is kind of what it took for him to have a path to the roster.
And he's making the team because the contract also says it.
Yeah, remember we went through this. They can only save like $100,000 by cutting him.
No, I think it's even like 10,000 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's even less.
Yeah. But still, I mean, like, it's probably the same you save if you cut whoever.
Yeah, I mean, he's making the team.
Yep. I
At
agree.
this point,
And just
probably,
a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like really well liked.
Yeah, he is. And he's really dry sense of humor. Funny.
Yeah. I think him and Nathaniel Hackett get along
No,
great.
I bet. Yeah.
It's so funny because Nathaniel Hackett is by far the best coach we've had from a vibes perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but also the worst we've had when it comes to injuries.
Oh, so bad. And I think it's only going to get worse as like the injuries get more important and more pressing with the season.
The funniest thing was watching Gary Kubiak. Like he didn't want to lie to people. Mm-hmm. He like really struggled to lie. So then he would just be like, Lloyd's got a knee thing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just today that he said he had a rest day, yet was day to day.
Could get another rest day tomorrow.
Right, I guess.
Okay. Anything else from practice today?
I don't think so.
Like a lot of people on Twitter are like talking about things that happened, like the last play, the last drive, and then they were asking players about it. You want to tell that story?
Okay, sure. I guess I can talk about the last drive, and also 90% of the media was told you cannot be tweeting these things, so I didn't, and so 90% of the media didn't. 10% either didn't hear, chose not to hear, or just truly weren't told. So there were 10% of people putting things out. Did I mention Marquise Spencer went down in practice?
You didn't. That sucks.
Was walked off, but then went to the training room and then was carted back to the main field training room. So that's not good.
Walk.
Would have been a very long walk. So he got carted. And then at the end of practice, 2-minute drill. Not even 2-minute drill. 37 seconds left on the clock. Offense has the ball. Okay, I'm just going all in depth here. Offense has the ball at the 25-yard line. They're down 2.
If anyone wants him to stop, just text me. I'll stop.
Down 2 at the 25-yard line. So they need a field goal to win. Offense has 1 timeout. You know what happens on the first play?
Sack.
Interception.
False start.
Oh.
So we're already saying we're sitting there. So one media member saying the defense should absolutely win this. And I'm saying, I don't know. You need 35 yards, 37 seconds, probably offense.
Patrick Mahomes does it with his left hand.
Exactly. Then the false start. I'm like, oh shit. Well, this isn't looking good. Yeah. But then what happens? They get to there's 11 seconds left. They had already burned their timeout. They are on the 50-yard line.
So a couple nice catches. Picked up 30 yards.
Yeah, it got to, I would say, 2 nice catches with a lot of incompletions in there. So 11 seconds left.
Stops the clock.
Yeah, the clock is stopped on the 50. 11 seconds, 0 timeouts. You want to know what the play was?
Not a run.
So I saw something about it being a pass over the middle.
That was the one to set this up.
Oh, okay.
Which is then when they called the timeout.
QB draw.
It was a little handoff to Melvin with no timeouts.
Oh, God.
11 seconds left. So Melvin gets to the 40-yard line. And this is, you remember the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Eagles game? It was exactly that. So then the offense is running up to the line. Clock hits 0. No one's set. So the defense is going crazy. They lose their mind. Then, everything calms down a couple minutes later. They bring out Brandon McManus for a field goal, and McManus hits the 57-yard field goal. And then so after practice, it was actually pretty funny. Nathaniel Hackett, it took him like 10 minutes to talk to the media after practice. And so the 2 guys we were talking to, Jerry Jeudy and DJ Jones, just came and sat with the media for that time. And DJ was saying, oh, no way did they get that off. And so Hackett was asked about it. He said, would the offense have got that off? And DJ Jones sitting with us goes, nope. But in my opinion, no. They were not getting that off.
They either got it off or they didn't.
They did not get it off. So Hackett said something like, well, if there weren't some other factors there, we would have been able to get it off. I'm slower to get to the line to set the ball. But there were just offensive linemen and wide receivers not set. And obviously you can't take a penalty there.
You're not going to be able to run 10 yards and in 11 seconds and get a spike. Maybe 5. Probably not.
Yeah. this is one of those things that, like, if someone did that against me in Madden, I would be laughing into the microphone.
Yes.
Like, you throw it to the sidelines. It's the only option.
Yeah,
in fact, I would rather have an incompletion and just try the 67-yard field goal than even consider anything that could keep the clock running.
Because at least then you're going to be able to try a field goal. Whereas this one, you don't even give yourself a shot.
The one thing that maybe you could discuss in the huddle is a quarterback draw, where you have to have talked about this before. And so, like, this has to come from the coaches. No further than 6 yards, something like that. You know what I mean? So no matter how much space you have, I need you to get down at 6. No one go past 6 yards, so you can just line right back up, spike it. But even then, at 11 seconds, I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't be willing to try it.
And it's good that they did this in practice to either, one, A, find out that they're never going to do this in a game, or B, find out, okay, the offensive linemen and wide receivers, they weren't necessarily ready to get up to the line, so we need to practice on working on that, because it did not seem like that. It didn't look like Melvin knew exactly how many yards he should or shouldn't go. The offensive line didn't necessarily know that they should follow the play right after. It wasn't polished. And so you either hope that in the next 27 days they practice that a couple more times, or they just scratch that from their playbook.
Wow.
That's fun.
That is not as bad, but it reminds me of when Mark Sanchez took a knee when he was supposed to spike it in the 2-minute drill.
And the defense just shockingly goes crazy. They're like just shocked and then just go nuts.
They're just screaming. Keep to leave TJ Ward, Chris Harris Jr. just running down the field screaming. Oh, that was bad.
But I mean, why?
That was kind of the beginning of the end for all of the Sanchez.
Yeah.
Why, Mark? What's the miscommunication there?
It can't even be communication. It's just a full-on brain fart.
Totally.
Yep.
He just gets the ball and is like, oh shit, I just did that.
If he did that,
almost like he pressed the wrong button from the special teams play.
Right.
Yeah.
If he did that in a game, would that be worse than the butt fumble?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the most embarrassing play in sports history.
Yeah.
With 2 seconds left, I mean, a chance to kick a field goal to win, and your quarterback takes the knee.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it more, I can kind of see it. Like, the formation is all the same.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That would be so bad.
This is completely random, but I just thought of it. The other night I was playing Madden, and I was running the ball in with Josh Allen, and I forgot that the line of scrimmage was the 1-yard line. So I was running, but like the receivers were all still eligible, but I wanted to press X to dive into the end zone. This is like the very last play of the game. So I press X to dive into the end zone, and he just goes to throw it. But in his throwing motion, the ball crosses the plane, and they call it a touchdown, and he just throws it into the ground. It's like he just spiked it simultaneously as he was crossing the plane, and I won.
It was just a very early celebration.
Yes.
He was celebrating early.
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I saw it happening like all in slow motion too in my head.
And
I'm
you're
like,
just like,
oh,
no.
Shit. And then I just the touchdown banner comes across the top.
Wow. Did you need the touchdown?
It was for the win.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Okay.
Something else that's huge is our friends over at Colorado Golf Association are putting on a huge raffle. I'm telling you guys.
Huge raffle for Dixon balls.
Wow, a huge Dixon balls raffle. And you can get in on the prizes, including Wailea Beach Golf Course in Maui, Whistling Straits, Naples Golf Tour, and Palm Beach Golf Tour, as well as a $5,000 gift card to Bandon Dunes. So if you want to get in on this, go to coloradogolf.org to get your tickets today. Not only helps you potentially win, you can also help out the CGA community programs, which include 2 great programs. So check them out over at coloradogolf.org to get your tickets.
And the American Raptors. This weekend is their big tournament that we've been talking about for quite a while. It's finally happening. Mm-hmm. The 10th annual Rugby Town Sevens tournament starts on Friday and runs through Sunday. It's an awesome thing they put on. There's teams from all over the country. There's 20 teams from all over the world. They've got food trucks. They've got an arcade. They've got a prize of $10,000 for the winner. It's a really cool thing. So head over to rugbytownsevens.com and grab some tickets.
There you go. All right, shall we jump into the questions?
Let's do it.
Also, the Raiders just released DeMarcus Robinson. Actually thought he was kind of good.
He wasn't in the Madden League.
I think he had like
He's
a
just
decent
big.
40 time for
Yeah.
his size. I don't know. Maybe, no, actually not. 4.59. Okay. Let's jump into the questions. I think we have a couple super chats to hit.
Just one.
All right,
That's
let's
a
do
good
it.
one.
Our hack said, I would hope in a real game scenario, Russell would be in the huddle reinforcing the clock and what needs to be executed, keeping things top of mind.
Oh yeah. But also above that, people did point out Kirk Cousins, who Zach says is good. Once kneeled instead of spiking the ball with 5 seconds left.
No way. No way.
Yep.
How about that?
In an NFL game?
Yep. It was the end of a half, so not the end of the world, but there
Wow.
Washington, apparently.
he is. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That is so embarrassing. He gets up, tries to run with it
How is that not as famous as the butt fumble?
because it was end of half.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
But that's why.
He took 3 points off the board with just incompetence.
Do you think anybody was watching Washington play Philadelphia back in the day? Nobody.
No, and that's why he's not great, Henry. That's why he's
That's
good.
why he's not great?
why he's
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Jake Plummer would never, even if he was high on
No.
mushrooms.
I wonder.
Wait, what was the super chat?
Oh, yeah.
Russell would have
you
told
hope
him.
Russ would no. If you would hope that happens in practice.
I was gonna say, yeah, you definitely don't save that for game time.
There's no
That's-
time to huddle, I would assume, too.
Well,
They just took a
like
timeout
clock was stopped.
Early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did have time to.
Oh, yeah. There he was.
So they huddled, and I mean, it was a failure on everyone. If you're able to let the clock run out, that's a failure on everyone on the field and the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it definitely starts with the play call, unless Russ checked out of it. I guess Russ calls the plays in the 2-minute.
I guess.
Oh, jeez. It is more possible to lose track of the situation in practice than it is in a game. I'll say that.
I just put this together, though. In a different answer, Hackett did say that he let some of the other coaches, including Justin Outen, call plays in practice in the end of game, end of half situations.
Wow. How about the
Wow.
Kyler Murray thing?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Like, that is... What's happening in Arizona is a straight-up soap opera.
It's all about to fall apart.
Yeah, it is.
Did you see, though, that Kyler only called the 2 drives in the fourth quarter? So the whole big thing, they wanted him to call plays because he was saying that the play caller, Cliff Kingsbury, is no good at calling plays.
Well,
so
no,
he
he's
basically
like...
said,
Cliff
suck
was
it.
saying that he, like, rolls his eyes whenever his play calls
Yeah.
come in. He's like, I want to show him how hard it was.
Exactly.
Never say that publicly. Anyways.
But then
No.
what happened was the Cardinals put up 36 points in that game, the most in any preseason game so far. And the 2 drives that Kyler called were both 3-and-outs.
In -3.
Oh, I didn't know the added
know.
twist to it of that he
Yes.
only called those 2 drives.
Yeah,
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
realize till after we talked about that.
It was only in the fourth quarter.
Oh, damn.
Now, again, who was the quarterback? Who was the line? But I can't believe... How does that get out?
What
he
another-
just told the media that.
What another awful look for Kyler.
Yes.
That his head coach is saying he rolls his eyes when he gets the play call.
And then said, like, I'll show him. And then told everyone about it.
And then went out and failed at doing it.
Yes. And then today, Kyler just breaks the news that he's not playing this weekend. Did you see that?
No way. No
They're like,
way.
they're like, if you play, like, what would you like to see out there? He just goes, I'm not playing.
Oh, wow.
But, like, Cliff hadn't said that yet.
Wow.
They have the in-season Hard Knocks, too.
Yep.
So, like, starting a couple months, there's a Hard Knocks with the Cardinals, and it's going to be incredible.
Did they pick the right team?
Oh, yeah.
I have to assume. I don't know. Kyler's there now. So
Yes,
Cliff's
he is.
going soon.
Yep, but he just signed an extension, so that means he's just going to get paid on his way out.
Lincoln Riley?
Ooh.
That's basically the same guy, but better.
Yeah. And the Kyler connection. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Everyone can afford it.
I mean, Lincoln's making what, $20
Yeah.
million a year now?
No, it's
10.
just 10.
I think it's
10.
like 100 mil for
And
10 years.
Belichick makes the most, and his is like 10.
Well, John Gruden was 10 for 100.
Oh,
10
that's
for
right.
100,
You
yeah.
got
did
the
get
Lincoln
that.
Riley. Well, I guess Lincoln Riley got the John
You got
Gruden
the John
deal.
Gruden. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to find the Kyler whisperer. And that's got to be Lincoln.
Lincoln was the everybody whisperer, though, which means he might just be the best coach there is. Like, it could be that you just
He's-
plug him in there. He's great.
He's not. He's not the best coach that is.
Offensively, he's my number one.
I think that he's going to fail at USC.
I love that. Really, really quick. Speaking of the Kyler thing,
Just because I want that to happen.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
of course.
yeah.
So
We know.
DJ Jones was, like I said, was hanging out with the media a little before, and some media member was like, "Hey, ask him if you're going to play this weekend. Ask like Hackett if you're going to play this weekend." He said, "I already know the answer to that," and then didn't say more.
Wow.
Which maybe we'll talk about tomorrow.
It kind of annoys me that person said that to him.
It wasn't me. I can tell you that.
Okay. First comment from Bronc Oilers. Am I right in thinking that we've seen a bit different of Coach Hackett over the past few days? His demeanor seems to have shifted to be more serious and businesslike, and a little less happy-go-lucky golden retriever energy that he normally exudes. Is this just a product of getting closer to the season? Did he realize, or did someone tell him that he needs to shift gears of his energy a little bit? Is he a little more concerned about the performance of the team? Curious to hear your thoughts. I think this is an astute observation, and I think it's a combination of a couple things. You've got, he has to deal with people who like tell DJ Jones to ask him silly little questions every day. I think naturally, first of all, I don't think coaches should have to talk to the media every day. And I think it's a lose-lose for both sides. And I think that the coaches get tired of the media really fast. And then I just think that, like, Nathaniel Hackett is he's a funny, goofy, dude, but he's a serious, like, football guy at heart. And I think he feels football getting closer, and it's making him a little more serious.
Yeah, it certainly has shifted, though.
Yeah. Yep. Don't make the coaches talk 3 times a week. It's fine.
Well... yeah, I guess he is 5 times a week.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. He goes on and says, also as a proud Canadian, I've got to agree with RK on his maple syrup take. Wow, I did not expect that.
That's wild.
I found the best thing to do is get a really cheap Canadian maple syrup, which basically just tastes like liquefied maple candy. The fancier stuff people tend to buy and find at stores in the U.S. has a really woody, almost smoky flavor to it that I don't care for. Great point. And also, it's too thin. Like, true maple syrup is, like, really thin. It's almost like the consistency of, like, bourbon. And, like, I like that thick
I do like
sugar
thick
in
syrup.
a bottle syrup.
But I'm confused. He's saying
He's agreeing with me.
still getting Canadian
They
maple
probably
syrup.
don't sell
though.
Aunt Jemima syrup in Canada.
I would think that's worldwide. I would think it's worldwide.
It probably is, but I don't know. I think that Canadians... they probably have like the same thing. It's just in a bottle that says maple syrup, but it's much cheaper.
Canadian maple syrup. Yeah, fair. Boozy says, my boys, I cannot stand by idly and listen to this slander of our national treat. Maple syrup is delicious and downright nutritious compared to your chemicals y'all
Never said it
call
was
syrup.
nutritious.
Open your eyes. This year, I will make the long pilgrimage from the frozen tundra up north to the great DNVR bar 2.0. I'll have to leave a liter or 2 behind. I have a logistics question for you guys regarding my trip this year in October and November. I'm trying to have the most DNVR long weekend possible. Do you guys throw tailgates for Avs, Nuggets, Buffs, Rams home games? Thanks for all you do. Go DNVR, Hank, and all the OGs. Don't forget to love each other. P.S. You don't need to read this on the pod. Okay, it's for IT.
Okay. So yes, we have lots of different things. I would say so. October, November, both Nuggets and Avs going to.
Yeah,
And
mid-October.
So I don't think we're doing a Buffs tailgate this year. We did do one last year, experimented with a little bit. But I'll say this: I'll cordially invite you to my family's tailgate if you want to come to the Buffs game.
Hey.
Then you go back to the bar for like a nighttime Avs or Nuggets game. Then you come for the tailgate.
On Sunday.
You do the bus on Sunday, and then you come back and maybe the other team that's not the Nuggets or Avs is playing at the bar right alongside Sunday Night Football. That's probably the most DNVR weekend you can have.
Dang, that sounds amazing. I wonder if that's going to happen.
Could happen.
Maybe.
Well, let us know when you're coming out. I guess look for that. Look for a Saturday and Sunday where the Avs and Nuggets alternate. And then hopefully it's like an earlier Buffs game, which I guess you won't know until 2 weeks out. So you can't plan on that one. You just have to cross your fingers for it.
Terrible.
And then you could do it. You could get the whole quadfecta there.
Nuggets and Avs schedules aren't out yet, are they?
They're
No.
slowly
just
dropping
dropped
the end.
Nuggets
Special
schedule
game.
comes out tomorrow.
There we go. Okay,
Oh.
so you'll be able to plan tomorrow.
I think Avs schedule is out, or did they just release who they play on opening night?
It is out.
Okay, that's
the whole
good.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Boom. Tomorrow you can make your plans.
Colin from Mullins, our guy, says, I'm indeed from Australia. So hopefully I just earned a little bit of slack on the missed Walton Walmart Association.
awesome.
Still pretty bad, though. It only clicked when I read the words next to each other. Also, being from Australia, I can confirm that maple syrup on French toast is very much already a thing. Sorry, Melbourne Bronco. Poems readings? All I have to say is this.
Poems returning.
Oh, poems returning. All I have to say is this.
And he gives the Wow.
Calvin
So
Anderson.
only if Calvin Anderson gets the starting job.
Wow. Well,
Tough.
poems won't be returned.
All right, here it is. The defense. Melbourne Bronco. My boys, apologies for the maple syrup comment. The wife had some fun with me. She will pay.
Did she get on? Was she?
Are we claiming hats here?
I think so.
Wow, what a great defense.
What an
Always-
interesting
yes.
time to pull that card
Got some
out.
PS5s you're trying to give away too.
Oh, that's who's coming in our YouTube section all the time.
I saw on Broncos Facebook video of Coach Hackett hugging Randy Gregory. That man is huge. If he gets 10 plus sacks, there will be 10 plus quarterbacks in a lot of pain. Do you guys think the recent defensive signings mean George Payton is happy with the offense? So now just adding the last pieces of the puzzle. Cheers.
What recent defensive signings?
Schobert?
Just like the ones.
Schobert?
Okay.
Also, Schobert wearing 93 is painful.
He's not.
I know.
He's
I'm
right.
saying
Oh,
last year
yeah.
in Pittsburgh. That's
yeah,
the main
yeah.
reason why they didn't
He
think
looks
he
so
was good.
small.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
brutal. Yeah,
I usually don't agree
number-
with that dumb stuff that you say about numbers, but that one was right.
That was so bad.
That was
I'm like,
absolutely right.
you can't have someone that's not huge wearing 93.
Now we got 47, 48, 49, and they all look like the exact
50.
same person.
They
with
do,
Jonas.
don't they?
Yeah, he looks a little. He
Well, he doesn't look like
bigger
them.
and stronger.
But I'm saying,
There's also a 46.
If that's the linebacker group that saves 47, 48, 49, 50.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah.
He does not look like
No,
those guys.
I see what you're saying. Is he happy with the offense? Who else is there to add?
DeMarcus Robinson?
Maybe. No, he's not making
No.
the wide receiver core set.
No.
Okay. Big Hank Stan says, I foolishly once tried to quit you, my gents. Hindsight. If you had to either quit in entirety, all meat, all dairy, or all alcohol in order to save humanity from total devastation, which one would you forever eschew?
This one's easy. I'm going meat. Easy.
So I've done meat before.
For like a decade, right?
Yeah, and it really wasn't that hard, and I was also much healthier and much skinnier. So it's probably just a good idea, honestly.
Yeah. I might
Well,
go
probably
meat, too.
alcohol is probably a good idea to cut out.
I think also
Nah.
dairy probably not great for you.
Yeah, dairy's probably not the best. I just think meat would be the easiest because so many people do it already that you can go into any restaurant and eat without having to
I
have
swear,
haven't
like
seen-
every time I eat meat, I think just a little bit more about that being an animal.
Wow.
I'm getting to a dark place.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
kind of in that dark
I
place.
know,
Hank.
yeah.
I can't, with 2 cats running around at home.
Yeah.
Makes you
Imagine
think.
I
eating
feel
one
like
of them.
I've already served my time. So like I'm
That's
guilt free.
fair. That's fair.
Those sliders are so good, though.
I haven't
I
seen
could
all these
never leave.
TikToks lately about how like all the things that are in like strictly American food are like making us fat and
Yeah.
like all these things, and it's kind of scaring me, especially considering the longest I've ever been out of the country, I just like shedded weight. Like it was just like pounds were just flying off. Of me
Ryan,
every
don't listen
second.
to a word that TikTok says.
Oh, I
that's
listen
my
to
advice.
So many words that TikTok
Oh,
says.
TikToks. Yeah, it's great.
No, you don't listen to what they have to say on TikTok.
So a lot of people
So what are some of them?
like just like how much we use high fructose corn syrup and all these
Okay.
things
Oh,
like
yeah.
aren't it's not being done as frequently in other countries.
Interesting.
And like a lot of people who have moved here from overseas are like, I didn't necessarily change my diet, like I didn't start eating poorly, but I'm just like gaining weight and I can't stop it.
That's interesting because it's just the extra ingredients.
Just all the shit that we put in our food essentially.
and no nutrients. They're all gone.
So we'll see, maybe we go to London,
There we
come
go.
back
Wow,
come back looking
hot.
like Zach.
The pod will lose a
What'll happen to
collective many
Zach?
pounds on our trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We gotta keep an eye on Zach. We don't want him disappearing.
Good luck.
We'll make sure he gets his fish and chips in.
Ooh, I can't wait for that. C-Duts1285 says, my boys, I'm sending some EMTs from Arizona over there to check on RK because I haven't heard any Charger slander in weeks.
You want to know why? They had to start playing football and people stopped talking about them like we always do.
There we go.
Did you guys see they put out I think it was a hype video. I actually didn't watch it, but just like every national person retweeted it. It was like yesterday or the day before.
Really?
Huh, no.
Okay. That's some homework to see what that's about. He says, if you guys could only keep one receiver out of the backup room, excluding Kendall Hinton, who would it be?
That's okay, so you have to pick out of KJ. Is KJ Hamler involved?
No, he's not in the backup room.
Who's in the backup room then?
The rest of them.
Not Travis Fulgham anymore.
Yeah.
Brandon Johnson,
Jalen Virgil.
Brandon Johnson.
You already said that one.
And Jalen
like,
Virgil.
is there a Brandon and a Brandon?
Seth Williams, Tyree Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay, you only get to keep one.
We've danced around this question so much. Like, I feel like we always tail off when we get to this part.
Hit it, Hank.
Give me Brandon Johnson.
Okay.
There's Seth Williams. I'll never be able to forget what he did to Derek Stingley back in the day, and he's made some great plays.
You made that sound like you like murdered him.
Yeah, what did he do?
He kind of did. That was probably
In
the
football,
game that
he like crushed him.
That's when things turned
Like,
for Derek Stingley.
He burned him.
Wait, so then why wouldn't you choose Seth Williams then? Like, why
Because
is
he's
that a
saying, like,
negative?
that's
for
Brandon-
Seth Williams?
Brandon
Like,
Johnson's
that's
been
what's
so
causing him
good.
to hang on to his Seth Williams
Yeah.
feelings, but
I need to let them
Johnson's been
go.
more productive.
Brandon Johnson's been looking really, really good.
So I found out via Vic Lombardi that Brandon Johnson is former Colorado Rockies Charles Johnson's son.
Yeah.
I have
So
read
now
that.
I'm biased towards him.
So many
in a
Charles
lot of
Johnsons.
Yeah, there really are.
Yes.
Adds up, though.
It's pretty common first name, pretty common last name.
Yeah,
Very much is.
I'd do it.
Well,
But it's crazy that there's 3 Charles Johnsons that have been
Yeah.
involved in Denver sports.
it's
It
really
is.
true. Yeah.
And one double.
R.I.P.
Potentially, if this kid sticks around.
I
Yeah.
like very vividly remember listening to a Rockies game on the radio. I want to say they were playing the Mariners even. This is crazy because we're talking about like 2001, 2002. And Charles Johnson hit a grand slam, and I was like really hyped.
I love it. I'll go Seth Williams because of the opposite of what Hank said. What he did to Derek Stingley.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Good
yeah.
way.
No, I actually do. I think, I really love Jalen Virgil too.
I know. Yeah, he's right there also. And
But-
Tyree Cleveland.
I have no Tyree Cleveland feelings.
Once Nathaniel Hackett said that about his injury, I was like, okay, he's gone.
He was still number 2 on the depth chart. That was
know.
probably the weirdest thing of that entire depth chart.
Yep, that's why they say take those things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm going Brandon Johnson. I think he's just the most able. Like he's like the most versatile, I guess is the word I'm looking for. He can kind of do it a little bit of everything.
Okay, there we go. He goes on and says, all good news with RG Turner, and I love the Schobert signing. Anything new on Dulcich?
We can't call Randy Gregory RG.
Oh,
it's already
no,
taken.
we can't. I was thinking right guard. Okay, anything new on Dulcich? He did not practice today, so just
Whereas Randy Gregory and Billy Turner both in pads,
for a second day in a row, they practiced about half practice.
huge.
Yep.
Whereas they are trending up
They
in
are.
my mind. They're coming out of the darkness. Greg Dulcich is going towards it.
Yes, I completely agree, unfortunately. And he says, I have my application ready when the assistant to vibes coordinator position opens up at DNVR so I can move back home, LOL. Go Broncos and go DNVR.
That's a very
Yes.
highly coveted position.
I-
We're going to have a lot of applicants.
I bet it is, including yourself. You're going to be applying for it.
They're the assistant to me.
Oh, the assistant to you. You think he's the vibe director, Henry?
Yeah,
You
fine.
think?
Oh my gosh, you pander so much, Henry.
He couldn't look me in the eyes and lie. He knew the truth.
You're such a panderer. Nash Broncos says, fellas, Perna recently had Derek Wolf on his pod, and I would encourage everyone to give it a listen. It revealed some interesting things from the past few years that I think explain some of the fire we've seen come from the defense. We've known that Vic was an old school coach, but some of the things Derek said made me realize just how severely he limited this roster in terms of on-field player expression.
What does that mean? mean.
I won't spoil the specifics, but I think some of the guys, Simmons, Chubb specifically, are finally being allowed to be themselves, and I love it. You guys have been talking about who brings the dog to this team, and I hope what we'll find out is that it's always been there. The guys just weren't allowed to show it.
I think they weren't allowed to talk to the other team.
Oh, yeah?
That's my reading to this, right?
I read it more so as like Bradley Chubb, your role is to like always have the outside. So never do any spin moves to the inside or something like that.
I'm seeing like just, shut up and play type of thing.
Well,
Which honestly Bradley could maybe stand to hear.
I was gonna say just at the very end when I'm reading that, I'm like, okay, there is a line though that you have to draw. We can't.
The line
see
for me
the
is
joint
celebrating
practice.
false starts. No more celebrating the offense false start. Like you can clap.
I like it.
But like if you're doing
Pointing and
sack
stuff.
dances when the offense false starts, it's because you're not getting enough sacks. So you need to use those dances.
That's fair.
Rub it in though. Those guys, if they do something dumb, make sure they know they're
I'm
being
fine
dumb.
with a nice good clap in their face, but dancing after the offense false starts is that crosses.
What about jumping?
like jumping up and down?
Yeah, like sometimes
Like you
the
just
guys
won something?
bounce. Yeah.
No.
You didn't do
Damn.
anything.
Yeah, just taunt them maybe like with your words.
Yeah, they're not. For some people that
Or just
works. For others,
just
their
let you
actions
play.
speak louder.
Shut up and play.
I just get more sacks. Get more sacks so you can use your sack dances for that.
I agree.
From Litvatsky, hey y'all, OG MVP in the house today. It's been a while since I commented, but always listening. Blast from the past I saw on NFL.com. They were complimenting Charles Cross on his blocking of Derek Tuska in the run game. He was always undersized with us, and though it was humorous that he was the focal point of the rookie's highlight. Also, like, I'm all for player. I feel like we didn't tie enough of a bow on the previous subject. I'm all for the players like being themselves and expressing themselves and having fun with that. I think I can definitely imagine Vic Fangio getting upset over celebrating false starts. And I'm actually on his side when it comes to that. Everything else, I'm like, yeah, dance, have fun, talk shit, like all of that stuff. I'm in on it. That's where I draw the line. Just like I draw the line at a kicker throwing their helmet.
What if the quarterback kneels instead of spiking?
Oh, everyone can dance.
You can dance that? Okay.
Dance all the way to the locker room.
What if you hand the ball off and the clock expires before
you
they're
just
able
won the
to-
game, so you can celebrate all
Okay,
you
there we
want.
go.
Well, if it's halftime.
Yeah, celebrate.
Okay,
as
so
long as
celebrate.
you're winning.
It was 23-21. Probably not halftime though.
Yeah, probably not.
yeah.
What
We
about
might need a
sick
chart
half?
from you about when to dance.
Oh, the dance to not dance. What would you call it?
Chart?
But it does not have a ring to it.
No.
The-
What's like the four charts? It's like a
tic-tac-toe board?
yeah, but no.
Ooh.
But okay, whatever. Anyways, he goes on. I thought Virgil was really the star of the first preseason game. He had a great high point catch and showed good speed. I did not think Brandon Johnson was consistent, but did make a good play. Also, Seth did a great job high pointing the ball on his catch. I've never been overtly excited with him. What do you think it would take for Virgil to get the last wide receiver spot? Also, this is just such an interesting thing. Every team is doing this with their wide receivers. Like, there are so many borderline NFL wide receivers out there. I just find that to be such an interesting thing. Like, it's the most overpopulated position in the NFL by a wide margin.
And that's why pretty much any of the guys you want to land on the practice squad, you're going to be able to.
100%.
What would it take? I mean, he might be holding down that spot right now.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but they could see it.
I think
anyone.
I think he needs to do this in the second and third game as well.
I think Seth Williams is one more like good play away from locking it up.
And I think Seth is the guy that has it right now as well. Man, Brandon Johnson, I just can't get out of my head the drop that he had to start the game. That's the only thing I can think of when I think of Brandon Johnson in this game. Was that one drop. Just went right through both of his hands.
Yep. I had the other one where he got one hand on it, and it's like, you
That
can't
was
expect
early.
him.
Yeah, he had two
Opportunities.
issues early, and
Yeah.
then after that he was like,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. But that first one was just like first impression.
His first game, man. Jitters.
First impression, Rose, man. It's important.
He finishes. Also, do you think that the Broncos top 100 are ranked well? We talked all about that, of course. Appreciate it as always, OG MVP.
Love hearing from you, OG. And Sir James says, is rounding us out, says, shout out to Jake Plummer being out of practice today. My all-time favorite Bronco. And I want you guys to read this last part. Also, Zach is the wind beneath my wings. That's it. That's a comment. Go DNVR. So
Talk
I
about
wasn't
pandering.
I wasn't lying yesterday.
Wow. Unbelievable. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Shout out Jake Plummer.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out Jake Plummer.
Shout out Jake.
He's, always doing something interesting.
He certainly is. He said, what do you think he was at practice today for? Think he's selling the guys on something? Has a little remedy for any of them?
I mean, it's all legal, like all the mushrooms that he's peddling.
Could you do that in the NFL?
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing psychoactive, and he's just selling
really?
health and wellness mushrooms.
Okay, like microdosing?
No, not even.
Not even.
There's
Not
no.
even.
I think it's like psychobilin or something is the active ingredient that makes you hallucinate. There's none of that in anything that he's doing.
Oh, very cool.
Well, probably the ones he's eating.
Hey, he should share. Anyways, I think that wraps it up for us today. This has been fun as always. Hit us with a thumbs up.
One last super chat.
Oh my god, that almost sounded planned.
Love y'all. Hashtag go Grizz. Hashtag go DNVR from Steven Sholey.
Go Grizz.
Love you, Steven.
Don't believe what Lance McCutcheon did. That ass with the Rams,
What?
the 2 touchdowns, and
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about.
he's a receiver.
believe it, though.
He was at Montana State.
Oh,
It's a fraud.
okay.
Sounds
Anyways,
like it.
that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Hey, we need as many 5-star reviews as we can get on iTunes. I think we're at 760 reviews. So we're creeping up on 800. We appreciate everyone who does that. Also, thumbs up. That's always easy on your way out on YouTube. But that's going to wrap it up for us today. Of course, we'll be right back with you tomorrow.